beautiful downtown company with your host, Vince. And now we're on the air. How's it hanging, everybody? Welcome to the show. And it's about 14:43 here in beautiful downtown Tampere. And Säästö Studios. I'm looking at some dude on the roof. He's pretending to work. I guess he's working for the city. Well, anyway, let's just go back to the future, as they say, and to the interview yesterday with Mr. Graham Bonnet. Yeah, that's about it. Enjoy. Pick it back up. So welcome back. This is probably part 2, I guess.
Yeah, part 2. Hello, and this is still Graham.
You are still holding up. We're gonna do a couple more minutes here.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine.
All right. Hey, I wanted to ask, going back to the band you're playing with here, do you have similar kind of bands, like located all across the globe, like every country you go to, you have your own like local Graham Bonnet unit there?
Yeah, well, in Russia, when I do a solo thing, yeah, there's a band there. And when I go to South America, I usually play with South American musicians as well, which are very good. I love South America. It's great. It's really good. They've got very, very good rock bands there. And they're just getting into it as well. It didn't used to be like that, South America, you know. But now it's like the place to go. So let's see. Have we played in South America? No, we haven't. We played in Mexico. Alcatraz, my band, has played in Mexico a couple of times. With, who did we play with? Testament, you know that band? Yeah. Which we thought, this can't go. I mean, we sound like a wimpy band compared to them, you know, but I was very surprised. We did excellent, you know, and the guys from Testament are going, that wasn't bad, you know, but they're all like, you know what I mean, thrash metal stuff, you know. So we thought we were a complete mismatch, but it was exciting to do that. So, yeah, I forgot where we were, but anyway, that's that bit.
Doesn't matter. I always like the questions best when you start from, you know, point A and you're at point Z when you, like 15 minutes.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like after the show and you're talking in the backstage and like you've been talking for like the bar is closing and that's like, where did this all come from?
Yeah. It's very confusing. What? What are you talking about? Who? We sang that tonight, did we? We played that? I don't remember. I wasn't there.
Do you get like sort of zoned out when you're on stage? Like
sometimes, yes. One of my worst traits is forgetting words. I kind of go, huh? You go blank because you're kind of looking at some of the people sometimes, and you're messing around. Hey, you know, you say something to them or whatever, and you go, where are we?
But if they're your words, you can also, no, I rewrote them for tonight only.
Well, let me tell you, every time I record, or, well, a lot of people I know, every time they record, they never listen to that song ever again, because you do it like 2 million times in the studio, and you go, oh, I'm so bored with this, and so you forget the words. Something happens to you, you just don't want to know about it anymore. So I end up writing down the words again, because I can't remember what they were, because you write so many tunes and so many silly words, you think, what comes next? You know. Like today, for instance, it happened today. There's a song that I did with Rainbow years ago, and it was the opening song. I think I was going, what the hell is that bit before the chorus? I just couldn't think. It's like just two lines. They've gone completely from my mind, you know.
Well, I think if you do something on the stage, you know, wave to someone or, you know, do something funny, then
distracted. It's a distraction, because playing live is it's completely different from being in the studio. All the words there, you know, and you stop the tape and you start again. You stop the tape, you start again. You know, it used to be like that, but now it's all Pro Tools. I do everything on Pro Tools now, so you can do anything you like and retune things, and it's all very high tech and plastic and fake, you know, but I try not to do that. I try to make it as real as possible if I'm doing something new.
It's sort of like finding that middle ground of, okay, here's a new technology, we should use it, but
Well, I mean, that's what you do now. Every time you make an album, it's by mail. You say, oh, here's my bit. Dink. Send it off. Oh, here's my bit. All right. Do you need harmony on that? Oh, okay. I'll put some harmony on this afternoon. Okay. It's not the same. And I liked the old way where the band was in the room, in the studio, and you all went through the tracks together and you get a better feel. I think, personally, you got a better feel because everybody's playing okay, we'll pull it back here. Okay, now we'll take it, the rhythm, the rhythms change and everything, but everything is done by click. And so everything is very regimental. It's like too stiff. It's too not like, I like Cozy Powell used to play. He used to pull things back, and John Bonham, they pulled things back because there was something about it, but it was cool,
Oh, now it's a mistake.
Yes. Oh, you can't do that. Ooh. Yeah, and that's the only problem I find with Pro Tools, because we have to do everything with a click, and it's all very straight on, and there's no dynamics. It doesn't slow down where the singer slows down. That's why I like playing without a click on stage if necessary. But at the moment, we're having to do that with Alcatraz because our keyboard player is gone, so we have pre-recorded keyboard parts. So the drummer has to have, and so he has to be really on. And some nights, of course, he's tired as well, and he's dragging, and we're going, "What's up?" and he gets lost because of the damn click. Because we've been traveling, and the drummer and the singer had the hardest job to keep their minds together, because I've got to use a lot of energy, lung power, and the same for the drummer. I mean, it takes a lot of shit to play drums.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys, they just lose weight, if they do like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, luckily our drummer he's one of those guys that likes to go running every morning and lift weights and all this kind of crap. But it's still hard though. If you're tired, forget it.
And you need like 2 fans if you're doing a longer show, and
it's very hard. So as I said, the singer and the drummer have to be spot on, and it doesn't always happen, because I could be really tired and like, oh, I'm not going to sing up there tonight. Oh, to hell with that, And so I have to be very careful. I have to lay back and think, okay, I use a softer voice here, but I use the microphone so it sounds as loud as the loud bits. You know what I mean? I use a lot of that kind of a technique if I'm not in shape.
But I think that's, even if you are in shape, that's sort of like being a good professional also with the microphone. That's your instrument.
Yeah, my technique. Yeah, there are certain things. I mean, there were singers in the past, R&B singers, it was one of my favorites years ago. Or Wilson Pickett, and his screams were like, wah! And I thought, God, that's great. How does he do that? And when I played on a show with him, on a TV show in England, and his high screams, he was eating the microphone. It was like that. So his screams were actually very small. You could hardly hear them. But on the recording, they sounded like they're really kind of big and gutsy. But yeah, it's my technique. You just kind of learn it over the years, And there's certain places where you use your head voice, your stomach voice, your chest voice. There's like 3 different areas of your body. And then when I haven't sung for a long time, I find that I find muscles in my body that ache. If I haven't sung for, say, 2 months or something, you use your whole body. My legs ache, the back of my legs, my butt, my back, and my neck. And I go, yes, I haven't sung for a while, have I? You don't realize how many muscles you use to make a note, to make a big note, to make it loud and powerful and everything.
Yeah, and colorful.
Colorful, yes, and still get vibrato and tone. It's very, very difficult. I wish I'd been a guitar player now.
Don't we all? Guitar players are cool, I guess.
You can play your guitar with pneumonia,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't really fake it. I was just talking with a guest before, also a singer, and like you can't fake it if you catch a cold on a tour, and it's downhill from that show.
And people just go, oh, you can't sing anymore. That's terrible.
You lost it.
Yeah, you've lost it, and all that. And they don't realize. I played in Australia about 5 years ago. I had bronchitis from the day I arrived, and I could hardly breathe. And I'm going, coughing and choking. And of course, all the reviews in the papers were like, oh, Graham Bonnet was absolutely awful. He sounded like he was a frog. And the reason was I was sick, but I didn't tell the audience I was sick. I was on antibiotics and all this crap all the time I was there. And then when I got back to LA, I was still sick. It was very hard.
That's the thing, like, because you're not working in a factory, you're not working for the boss, you're working for yourself. You can't miss those dates.
No, I mean, and they expect you to be, the same every day. They expect you to sound like the way you do in the studio. And if your energy or you're sick, bronchitis is a killer for a singer. I mean, it can turn into pneumonia. It can be very, very serious. And all this crap coming. I won't go into that, but there's all this awful stuff that comes up.
You can Google it, people.
Yeah, it's a green phlegm, and people just don't know, and they go, they're looking at you like, "What's up with him?"
But we know the truth, and we're here to educate. So now our listeners, maybe next time somebody's a little bit off their game in a concert, maybe they know. Yeah, it could be something.
I always have great pity for a lot of singers if I hear them croaking and stuff, and the audience is going, "Oh, this isn't very good, is it?" I look at them and go, "You don't fucking know what it's like. You don't know. You try it, bud." Because the human body, we're only human, and singing the kind of music that I sing and some of my friends sing, it's unnatural. Because it's like full on all the time. There's no ooh, none of that. It's all big. Using big, it's almost like opera. It's like semi-operatic, like Pavarotti. He played with Deep Purple a few years ago, and before he died. And my old keyboard player, Don Airy, who played for Rainbow and now is in Deep Purple, he took over from John Lord in Deep Purple. They played with Pavarotti. He came on and sang something with Ian Gillan. I don't know what the hell it was, but something. And Don went over to him and said, "Mr. Pavarotti," he said, "how do you warm up every night? Do you warm up your vocal cords?" He says, "Oh, no, never." And he says, "Well, doesn't it kind of affect your voice when you go on? Are you sure it's going to be there?" He says, "I just hope for the best." He said, "Some nights it's not there." And he's like one of the most famous and greatest singers in the world. He's gone now, unfortunately. He's died. But he was like powerful and everything. But he said, "Oh no, some nights it doesn't work at all." He said, "It's very embarrassing."
Well, you just go out there, you give it your best.
You hope. Yeah. It's like, "Oh, please, let me get through this without falling over or something, getting dizzy." You get dizzy, because you're using so much air from your lungs. You go, if you blow out air for long enough, you'll get dizzy. And that's what some of the there's long notes in songs and things like that. And of course, your head, you feel like you're going to fall over. I've seen stars on stage and all kinds of, "Oh God, I'm going to go," and I just have to hope for the best and hang on to the microphone.
But at least in rock music, you can sort of give the mic to the people, or hey, play.
You can play around, yeah.
You can't do that if
You
you're.
can't do that with opera. No, it doesn't quite work.
And everybody. And you. Dead silence.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. I would like to see somebody try that, and just to see the reaction of the
It'd
crowd.
be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. I think opera should get a bit more rock and a bit more casual. I find opera to be very staid and too proper. The suits and the shit. I think that's also silly. Why do you have to wear a suit to sing?
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
You can.
I did that.
Well, you can, but you don't have. Like, you could do opera, in street clothes.
In your jeans and t-shirt, what does it matter? But it's a kind of it's a tradition that's stuck. Everybody dresses up to go to the opera. The women with the long dresses, and the guys with the tuxedos and the bow ties. But I'd love to see opera being taken more casual, because when I was a kid, I used to listen to people like Mario Lanza, who was in a lot of movies back in the 1950s, and he was one of the greatest singers I've ever heard. But he was an actor as well, sort of. But he made opera kind of popular back then. He had a thing about him. There's something about him. He's still one of my favorite singers, because you knew it was him. A lot of opera singers, like a lot of heavy metal singers, all sound the same. They all go, "Wah!" and you don't know who it is. Who the hell's that? Is that I don't know. Is that Rob Halford? Is that Bruce? Who is it? You know, because a lot of the younger bands, you know, the guys that are in their 20s and 30s, they do the same thing. It's all high and that semi falsetto thing, and there's no character.
And then there's the other line of that, which is the and you can't even understand the words.
Yeah, it's just crap. It's just crap. I mean, I find that crap. I'm sorry to say, it's just rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. It's an insult to my ears and to the people that are buying it, that are taken in by that kind of crap. But you know, that's advertising for you. You will like this music because I say so. And if you see commercials on TV, they're going, wow, that's cool. Mum and Dad won't like that, will they? I must buy it. So the kids buy it because Mum and Dad doesn't like it, you know. Whereas one time, Mum and Dad didn't like heavy metal. But now, the mums and dads are the people that like it.
Well, that's the circle of life, as Elton John would have said it.
Yeah. So it's just a weird old thing. Music is a strange thing. Sometimes it's a great singer or a great player is sometimes a matter of opinion if you think they're good. You know, I like funny people like, you know, from years ago, like Hank Williams, who was, you know Hank Williams? Yeah, I mean, I liked his voice. I don't know why. There's something about it because I knew it was him. He had such character. He wasn't a fabulous singer or anything, but I liked him. And I liked Mick Jagger because he wasn't a fabulous singer either. But I loved John Lennon's voice and Paul's voice in the Beatles, and the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys vocal. I love those harmonies. It's just blows me away. That's when I heard Queen. When I first heard Queen, I thought, that's kind of like the Beach Boys come ELO Beatles or something. It had a mixture, you know, and they were very clever in what they did, you know. Fred was a great, arranger. You know, he had something about him. And, of course, the guitar playing was so unusual.
It still is. Like, nobody plays like Brian May.
No. When he played God Save the Queen on top of the Buckingham Palace for something or other years ago, I was like, I just sat there and went, wow, that's fucking great. Because he didn't just play the melody, he played it with feel. And that's the first time I've heard God Save the Queen, that awful song. God Save the Queen. It's the first time I've heard that song had soul.
That's part 2 for you. And I'm going to have part 3 probably tomorrow, and then yeah, it's gonna look like there's also gonna be a part 4. So this is definitely an in-depth conversation. Still can't call it an interview. Well, maybe somebody can, but I just like to call it a chat. Yeah, I made a mistake yesterday. Actually, not just me, but I was reading a promotion letter for Graham's tour, and they forgot to mention Lamppari on guitar. So sorry about that, dude. And yeah, he will be also there doing some cool stuff, I believe. Well, I'll check it out today. Hopefully so will you. Alright, I'm out, and see you next time.